Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my March TBR. So you can't spell March without arc, right? You see where I'm going with this? I do plan on reading quite a few arcs in March, and I have a couple of other books that I'm in the middle of that I need to finish up. The first book that I need to finish is Wind and Truth. I have literally been reading this since it came out in December because I've just been prioritizing physical reading, and I only have the audiobook of this, and I've been sneaking in like 1 to 2 chapters every now and then. And I need to just finally get it over with. I think part of my problem is that I'm really just scared because this is the final book in the first arc, and then the next arc is supposed to follow different people. So I'm like, I don't want my time with this cast of characters to be over, but I just need to buckle down and get it done. I also need to finish Ruin by John Gwynne for my book club, The Reading Realm, which is always linked down in the description if you want to join. The Discord isn't just for the book club, it is just kind of like a small community, and I love everybody who's in there. Everyone is so kind. But we are going to finish this up by the middle of March, and then we're taking a short break after Ruin to read a small standalone book before we dive into what I'm assuming is going to be a very epic finale with Wrath. I am only 25% in. I'm a little bit behind on the reading schedule. Not that there is one. My book club is very loosey-goosey, but I do have about 18 days at this point to get this finished, so this will be a priority for me. It is only like February 24th, but over the next 3 days I would like to really focus and try to get a good chunk of this finished before we start the next month. I also realized that I haven't told you what Wind and Truth and Ruin are about, but I have talked about them both so many times over the last couple of months that I don't think I need to reiterate the synopses for you on those, and I'm really sorry in advance if this is the first video you're watching of mine because I've talked about them so many times and I just can't bring myself to do it again. And starting in the middle of March until the end of April, the next Reading Realm book club pick is going to be Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao, and this one sounds so good. It says, on a back street in Tokyo lies a pawn shop, but not everyone can find it. Most will see a cozy ramen restaurant, and only the chosen ones, those who are lost, will find a place to pawn their life choices and deepest regrets. Hana Ishikawa wakes on her first morning as the pawn shop's new owner to find it ransacked, the shop's most precious acquisition stolen, and her father missing. And then into the shop stumbles a charming stranger quite unlike its other customers, for he offers help instead of seeking it. Together they must journey through a mystical world to find Hannah's father and the stolen choice. By way of rain puddles, rides on paper cranes, the bridge between midnight and morning, and a naked and a night market in the clouds. But as they get closer to the truth, Hannah must reveal a secret of her own and risk making a choice that she will never be able to take back. This book has been compared to like the vibes of The Starless Sea, which is a book I desperately love with all of my heart. So this has a big hole to fill. For me, I love The Starless Sea so much, and if this can just give me that like whimsical, nonsensical like adventure that's like full of metaphors and whimsy and just beautiful descriptions and imagery, like I'm gonna love it, and I really hope that I do love it. I've heard mixed reviews. I know some people really love it and some people just think it's like fine. I haven't heard anyone say anything like super negative, but it's either like they're just like it's fine or they're like obsessed with it. Those are the only two kinds of reviews I've seen for this so far, and I just really hope I'm the kind of person who falls in love with it because it sounds right up my alley and it just seems really cute. My Black Horror Reading Challenge pick for March is going to be Immortal Dark by Girma, I think it's pronounced. And as far as I know, this one is about a girl whose sister gets murdered, and in her kind of quest for like vengeance, she gets entangled in this like secret academy type school where there are basically like this world has vampires, and I think that some of the humans like align with the vampires and they kind of like share power, and like, you know, the vampires like feed off the humans, and because of that, the vampires like give them like social status and whatever. And then there are other people who in this world want to like be free of the vampire's clutches. So I think it's kind of this situation where her sister got murdered and I think it was a vampire, and then she ends up like moving in with him because I think he's their family's like, I don't know the word for it. My brain wants to say mentor, but that's not right. He's their family's like vampire person. Like he's kind of the one that like is like working in tandem with that family, I think. And I think that she like wants to kill him, but she might like fall in love with him. I honestly don't know a lot, but it sounds intriguing. I love a good vampire novel, and I also feel like this kind of does give me dark academia vibes, again, because there's kind of like a secret society, secret academy thing going on. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous because I haven't heard anyone talk about it really, and I've seen a few people like haul it, but I don't know if they've read it yet. So I hope I like it so that way I can help like promote it, because I feel like I haven't heard anyone say anything about it. One of the arcs I'm going to read this month is called Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen, and I believe that this is also vampires. Let's read the synopsis. Lucy's twin sister Sarah is unwell. She refuses to eat, mumbles nonsensically, and is increasingly obsessed with a centuries-old corpse recently discovered on her husband's grand estate. The doctor has diagnosed her with temporary insanity caused by a fever to the brain. To protect her twin from a terrible fate in a lunatic asylum, Lucy must unravel the mystery surrounding her sister's condition. But it's clear her twin is hiding something. Then again, Lucy is harboring secrets of her own too. Then the worst happens. Sarah's behavior takes a turn for the strange. She becomes angry and hungry. Lucy soon comes to suspect that something is trying to possess her beloved sister. Or is it madness? As Sarah changes before her very eyes, Lucy must reckon with the dark, monstrous truth or risk losing her forever. So I don't know if she's possessed by like this centuries old corpse. I don't know if it was like, you know when like historians and archaeologists find a sarcophagus and everybody jokes about like, don't open the sarcophagus, we don't need that like curse upon the world. So like, did the corpse have something to do with this like weird possession, or is she a vampire? I feel like she's a vampire because it says she starts to change and gets hungry. Hungry for what? You didn't say. But the book title is called Blood on Her Tongue. Is she hungry for blood? So I think this is also vampires. And I feel like vampires, everyone thinks like vampires are for October, like vampires are for Halloween. No, vampires are for whenever you want them to be, okay? They don't just stop existing when it's not October. The next arc I'm going to read in March is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett, and this is the sequel to The Tainted Cup, which came out at the end of 2023, I think. And so The Tainted Cup is about this investigator named Anna and her sidekick, whose name is Din. And basically they live in this world where the cities are kind of in these concentric rings, and the outer ring has this giant wall that's supposed to protect them from something. It's kind of a mystery. We don't get a lot of information about the thing in book 1 until like maybe the end, so I won't really say much about it yet. But basically Anna and Din are tasked to solve this murder, and the reason why they are asked to solve this murder is because it's not very cut and dry. The local police like can't figure out what happened because the dead body had like a literal tree growing out of the body, and so they need to figure out who did it. I think this book is so good because Din is like, he starts off as this like meek character, and you get to see his like personal journey. He's also dyslexic, and a lot of the magic in this book is kind of revolved around like mutating people's bodies to make them better at things. And so he has some mutations because he's an investigator, but he does have the limitation of like not being able to read things quickly or like read out loud a lot because of his dyslexia. And Anna is kind of this Sherlock Holmes-esque like genius who's crazy and she very much is like a shut-in. She doesn't like to leave her like office apartment very often, and so she kind of uses Din as like her eyes and ears, because part of his like mutated power thingy is that he has a photographic memory. And so they are just this tag team duo. And I found it so engaging when I read it because the world felt like fresh, even though it did have a little bit of that vibe of like Attack on Titan, but it was like so mild of a reminder of that world that it still felt unique. And especially the magic system really felt interesting and unique. And the way that people use these like enhancements to basically help with their profession also felt really cool. And I really liked Anna a lot. And by the end, I loved Din also. I wasn't like sure about him at first, but he grew on me. And he's a cinnamon roll. He's a cinnamon roll, but you have to get to know him before you see like the ooey gooey like cinnamon rollness, you know? But yeah, I'm really excited to read book 2, and I've put it off for way too long. The next arc I'm going to read in March is The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. So this is kind of like a horror mystery as well. I think it's following this group of boys who, when they were teens, they found a literal like spiral staircase in the woods, and it just like went to nowhere. And I think one of the friends was like, oh, like we should go up there, ha ha ha. Some of them were like, it's kind of weird, like we don't want to go up there. And then one of them went up there and disappeared. I think that he comes back when they're adults, and that's kind of like where the book takes off. And I think that they're trying to find like what happened to him, like what happened while he was gone. And then I think the staircase comes back, and so they're like also trying to figure out what the fuck is up with this staircase thing. And I've never read a Chuck Wendig book before, but like this one sounds so interesting. And I don't know, it just sounds like it's going to really freak me the fuck out. I used to play in the woods a lot as a kid. You wouldn't know it by looking at me because I fucking hate bugs and I'm not like an outdoorsy gal. But yeah, I used to live on a street where like at the end of the street it was like the woods, and there was a trail that was like made from like foot traffic, and it led to this clearing where like motocross bikers used to like drive and stuff. So as like a 12-year-old kid, I was always like walking into the woods and just hanging out in there. So I'm sure there were plenty of instances where like I was probably like in danger and didn't know it. So this book I think is gonna freak me out, you know? And the last arc that I'm going to at least start in March and then maybe finish at the beginning of April, because I have a fun video planned for this one, so stay tuned. And that book is Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill. And this one sounds so fun. It kind of sounds like a cozy fantasy horror in the vein of like Someone You Could Build a Nest In, which I haven't read yet, but the synopsis and vibes that I get from that one reminds me a little bit about this one. This book is about a lake monster named Jenny. And she basically, like, when people get lost and fall into her lake, she eats them. I think the locals call her Green Teeth because she's a very green, like wet, seaweedy, like monster with large teeth. And in the local village is a woman named Temperance. And I think that, if I remember correctly, I think that there's either a pastor or like some man in the church who is like causing a stir, and Temperance like sets off from the village for some reason, and I think she falls into Jenny's lake. But Jenny is like, wait a minute, this person looks interesting. I'm not gonna eat her. I'm gonna save her life because she's drowning. So Jenny saves Temperance's life. And then apparently they go off on a quest together, and I don't know what the quest is for. And this just sounds so good, literally so good. And the video I have planned for it is not gonna be out for a little while, but it's gonna be fun. I promise you that. And I can't wait to start it. It comes out on the day I'm filming this. It comes out tomorrow on February 25th. So check it out if you haven't already. It sounds so fun, kind of whimsical, maybe a little bit dark. I think there's gonna be sapphic romance. And I also just get the vibes that like it's just gonna be kind of heartwarming, even though Jenny is like a grotesque monster creature thing, and Temperance might be a witch. I'm not really sure. I think she might be. The name Temperance gives me witch vibes. So this one is super high on my excitement list. But again, because the video won't be out for so long, I might just save it till the end of March into early April, if I can resist that long, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I can wait. Those are all of the books I plan on reading in March. most of them arcs. I'd love to know what book you're most excited to get to in March. And again, don't forget, if you'd like to join the book club for Watermoon, it will be linked down below in the description. If you've made it this far in the video, please leave a tree emoji down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!